if you're in the United States or you know what baseball is, like someone will say, I can hit it to third base, and someone will say, I can hit it to the outfield, I can hit it a home run, I can hit it to Chicago, I can hit it to LA, I can hit it to Japan. And little boys will do this, and they are serious.
Yes.
Like little girls don't do that.
Right.
And I've seen that in some of my clients.
I find, I know, as usual, I have like 90% guys, 10% women. Maybe these days it's more like 80% guys, 20% women. But I find, for the most part, not always, for the most part, women much better traders. They don't let. Is it testosterone? What is it? What is it about guys that, why is Melvin Capital folding shop today? I guess that's my big.
Are they folding shop? I didn't hear that.
Wow.
He's folding shop. Yeah, he's folding shop. He finally said, I can't do it anymore. I gave in. But is it testosterone? Is it just basically we're just wired to be horrible traders? I think
that's you generalizing women.
What was that, Mandy?
I said that's very generalizing women.
I am. It's a completely sexist question. All the women in my life, consider me to be a complete male chauvinist pig, so I fully own it. But my question is,
you're not. Like you always talk so nice about your wife. You're like the biggest sweetheart.
My wife, both my wife and my partner, who are, who's a woman too, are completely convinced, that I am that. But but of course, I work with women all the time. But my question is, I still find, like, is it biological or cultural, or am I just making it up?
Well, this is what I've noticed. Men seem to get a little bit more involved in the competition to do better than the next guy.
Okay.
And there's actually some research with little boys in baseball and how, if you're in the United States or you know what baseball is, like someone will say, I can hit it to third base, and someone will say, I can hit it to the outfield, I can hit it a home run, I can hit it to Chicago, I can hit it to LA, I can hit it to Japan. And little boys will do this, and they are serious.
Yes.
Like little girls don't do that.
Right.
And I've seen that in some of my clients. Like I had this one client, very involved, fundamental process, intending to hold long-short equity for 2 to 3 to 5 years. And then he'd go to a conference and he'd see his buddies that he was analysts with at another shop, and they all had their own shops then. And they were long just Tesla. And I'm just saying that off the top of my head. And he'd come back and buy Tesla before. And his analysts would be so mad because they'd done the fundamental research for the 3 year. But he just couldn't tolerate that his friend was in this other stock that was working.
Yeah, that's so true.
Women don't do that as much. Women are very competitive, but they don't do that as much, is my experience and observation.
Yeah, that's actually really, really true.
I mean, if you look at why Linda Rushkey is so successful, right? It's not because she's female. Like, don't ask her that question. She would be really annoyed with you. It's because she put in the work. Like I posted one of her webinars up from 2 weeks ago, where she shows exactly the work she's put in order to be so efficient as a trader. Hours and hours and hours and years of analysis and research and statistical. What does the market do during those times? And this is what Linda's strength is, right? She's like, in the morning, the market behaves differently in the afternoon. And here's my stats from 50 years of market
and she's
behavior.
been doing it for, I was going to say 40 years. Because I mean, like I studied her way back when I was first starting.
Oh, yeah. Linda was on the show, right? Linda was on Trader Fest with me twice, actually. And I haven't actually, I got to tell her this. The last time she was on, she just basically gave like literally a PhD. I just let her talk for 2 hours. I didn't even say a word. Let her talk for 2 hours. The thing was, she kind of revealed the whole personality of the market. And what I haven't even told her this yet, the system I trade now was born on that day. She was the one that gave me the whole idea to understand how the first half hour trades, why we do certain things, where we hit the highs, where, where the European closed the European, all of these things and like she opened my eyes and I was like, holy cow, this really does go this way every single day. And if you just did this and this and this, you could really take advantage of it. And that was literally the germ of this system. It was 2 years ago that now is producing all this profit. So it's absolutely true. Yeah, I agree that she obviously puts in a lot of. But I guess my point was like Denise's point is so true that you get little boys on a playground. The first thing they're going to do is competition. Little girls are going to be a lot more collaborative, at that point, than just play with each other.
But Denise, I'm wondering if you experience the same. I find women, or maybe it's the women that I attract, they doubt themselves so much. Like even if they're great traders, there's so much self-doubt, and that's what's standing in their way to tapping to their full potential, to say it, so dramatic. Do you see that as well? Or,
I think that most of my clients, well, really all of my clients at this point are professional portfolio managers. And so I have one female PM and I have one female analyst, and, they've powered their way through, they're both in their 40s. But I think young women, number one, they perceive it as a math game, and, right, wrong, or indifferent, there's massive amounts of information that girls don't do as well as math, not because they can't, but because of kind of the socialization around it, and they're often led to believe they can't really do it, or they can't do it as well as the boys. And so then they come into this thing and they think it's a math game, and they're sort of doubting their math skills. Again, not because they can't, but because more often than not been socialized. And also, I think there's also kind of a way the brain works, even for math. But by the way, if you say that a woman's brain is maybe slightly more social, that should be a really good thing for trading, because it's basically just a social perception game. You're predicting other people. So skills like empathy and the ability to read other people go a long way in the markets, because math is just a proxy for it. It's not the reality of it, right? But women aren't taught this. I'll tell this story really quickly. A hedge fund manager, 6 kids, oldest daughter in college, freshman, wants to talk to me about majoring in psychology. And I start talking to her about what she likes and what she's interested in. And I'm like, why isn't this girl going to be an analyst for her dad's hedge fund? Because she likes analyzing, not just an individual, but situations. And I start talking to her about what it takes to be an analyst working for her dad, and she didn't know. And he had a hedge fund her entire life.
Yeah.
Wow.
May I ask you, Denise, my personal experience, and I'm not judging my parents, I love them, they did the best. But my mom always brought me up to be the sweet little girl, the nice one. And that worked really against me at the beginning of my trading career. And so I had to do a lot of work on myself. What are your thoughts on, I think, the roles work in terms of the roles we play in families and how parents bring boys and girls up differently, maybe?
Oh, totally. Again, I'll go back to, your experience of your first 10 years and how you are taught to and how you learn to navigate the world. Like, you learn some system. You don't really think of it as a system, but you learn some system. This is how the world works, and this is how I operate in it. So for you, that was like, be the nice girl, make sure you make everybody feel good, and, don't make anybody mad, right? And certainly don't take anything from anybody, God forbid. Like,
how did you know that?
So then when you're going to go like place a trade that's technically taking money from somewhere, you might like have some conflict about that.
Yeah,
but it's
and give it
always
right
like
back.
that. Yeah. The role we're taught to play in the family, the market just becomes that family.
That is so funny. That thought has never crossed my mind. Like, the fact that you just said that was like, I was like, the fact taking money from somewhere, hell yes. That thought of like, oh, I'm going to be taking money away from somebody, literally never crossed my mind until you actually just said it.
Unless it was, damn it, I can't wait to take money from somebody.
Exactly.
Sure.
Right. I was just like, it's funny. I never even couldn't even imagine thinking of it that way.